Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent McCory. This is Africa 54. Well, in the fight for the White House, the two U.S. vice presidential contenders, Democrat Tim Kaine and Republican Mike Pence, met in the only debate Tuesday in the state of Virginia. Both men spent most of the time attacking the presidential candidates of the other party, Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump. VOA national correspondent Jim Malone has the details.
It was a rare moment in the spotlight for the two vice presidential contenders, Democrat and Virginia Senator Tim Kaine and his Republican opponent, Indiana Governor Mike Pence. After a friendly handshake, the debate quickly turned contentious as Kaine urged Pence to defend a series of controversial remarks made by Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump.
Donald Trump during his campaign has called Mexicans rapists and criminals. He's called women slobs, pigs, dogs, disgusting.
That brought a strong response from Pence.
He still wouldn't have a fraction of the insults that Hillary Clinton leveled when she said that half of our supporters were a basket of deplorables. She said they were irredeemable.
Throughout the debate, the two men frequently interrupted one another, but for the most part, they also kept their cool. Pence and Kaine clashed over foreign policy, with Pence alleging that the U.S. has grown weaker under the leadership of President Barack Obama.
After traveling millions of miles as our Secretary of State, after being the architect of the foreign policy of this administration, America is less safe today.
For his part, Kaine took aim at some of Trump's foreign policy proposals, including on nuclear policy.
Donald Trump believes that the world will be safer if more nations have nuclear weapons. He said Saudi Arabia should get them, Japan should get them, Korea should get them.
Kaine also pointed to Trump's refusal to release his tax returns and recent revelations about the Republicans' business losses in the 1990s.
Governor Pence had to give Donald Trump his tax returns to show he was qualified to be vice president. Donald Trump must give the American public his tax returns to show that he's qualified to be president.
Pence tried to turn the tax issue to Trump's advantage.
Donald Trump is a businessman, not a career politician. He actually built a business. Those tax returns that came out publicly this week showed that he faced some pretty tough times 20 years ago.
The two men fought over terrorism, immigration, relations with Russia, and the economy. Historically, vice presidential debates have had little impact on the outcome of presidential elections, and the second Clinton-Trump debate comes in only 5 days.
Well, and joining us now with more insight on last night's debate is our political expert, VOA national correspondent Jim Malone. Jim, welcome back again to Africa 54. Now, at the very beginning, of course, the gentlemen were asked what in them makes them ready to be president in case anything happens. Now, other than that, everything else was about talking about the presidential candidates.
Yes.
What's the value of this debate?
Well, I think some people are questioning it now. This one in particular, I think, since there's so much focus on Clinton and Trump, this is going to be quickly forgotten. There were no major mistakes by either of these candidates, Pence and Kaine. Pence may have helped Trump a little bit by at least getting the subject back on issues Republicans like to talk about, some of Clinton's faults and some of their conservative beliefs. But Kaine pressed the attack and really kept the debate focused on Donald Trump. And as long as this election is on Trump and his various controversies, that's probably an advantage for Clinton.
Now, in terms of that look, the readiness to be president, is that important to voters? Like, how ready would a person be and how presidential does he look if there is a need for him to step up to the plate?
I think it's important when it's clear someone's not ready. For example, in 2008, Alaska Governor Sarah Palin had a high bar to meet in order to seem qualified. She did fairly well in her one and only debate with Joe Biden. This time, though, I think the focus is so much on the two presidential nominees, Clinton and Trump, that people are really actually gearing up for that second debate. They're already looking ahead to see what kind of surprises might be in store, especially on the Trump side.
Now, from what you're hearing and your personal analysis, how would you compare how effectively this man made the case for the presidential contenders and how the presidential contenders themselves made the case for themselves in the first debate?
Well, I think most of the polls and a lot of the analysts think Clinton was a clear winner in the first debate. That's going to put enormous pressure now on Donald Trump to step up in the second debate. The format's a little different. Half the questions will come from voters in a town hall format. That makes it a little more uncertain, unpredictable. We're told, or we hear, that Trump will be on the attack again on Hillary Clinton, may make some of those attacks more personal. So the question is, how will Clinton respond? But also, might Donald Trump go too far? He certainly has in the past. So there's a lot of moving parts, I think, to the debate coming up.
Did it look to you like perhaps Mike Pence had little difficulties defending some of Trump's position?
Well, I think that's one of the takeaways. Kaine pressed the case. Some people thought too aggressively. That was a demerit on him. But he kept the focus on Donald Trump and a number of controversial remarks, whether about refugees, Mexican immigrants, and so forth. And most of the time, Pence declined to defend him. We're hearing, actually, through some sources in the Trump campaign that the man himself wasn't too happy with that. So I think to that extent, Kaine did what he had to do. He got the Democrats excited and kept the focus on Trump.
And you know what? He says he's a boring guy. I don't think it was boring.
No,
I don't think he is.
The debate was much more exciting, I think, than we might have thought.
Jim, thanks a lot for your analysis, as always. Well, that's VOA's national correspondent, Jim Malone.